Now, I don't know if that's ever happened to you when you go back to your childhood home.
I think so.
With family.
I'll look at it next time.
Well, what might be interesting is to do what I have suggested to people: don't go back home. Go to a neutral ground, and you'll be less regressive. Like y'all are doing your family get together on a cruise.
Right.
There's a much greater chance that you won't regress because you're on neutral ground.
Now, when people talk about regress, does that mean like, oh, then I like cling to my mother, or then I want them to do things for me, or?
Could be that. It could be that.
Or I go into the helpless mode.
It could be that.
Okay. Or what else?
Or we go into a victim mode, or we go into a sibling rivalry mode. You know, when we remember what it was like growing up.
Sure.
But when we're adults, in a neutral setting, we experience being an adult. It's kind of a move back to basically childhood. Fascinating.
Yes.
It's really fascinating.
Do some people ever get stuck there?
I think probably all of us utilize defense mechanisms, but yes, I think we can get stuck there. And again, I use the example of denial. Someone can just live in denial forever.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just the way it is. It just won't accept it.
Speaking of acceptance, how can people really take an inward look and say, how am I using that in my life, and how is it not being productive?
That's when, and it's not necessarily having a therapist, but that's we find it best when we're not only going inside internally and thinking about our behaviors, but by having people around us that will call us out. And again, one doesn't have to be framed in psychology to notice that sounds like you're denying it. Or that sounds like you're projecting that on someone else. You know, when I see you doing it, you know, or that seems like, it seems like you're being passive. Another one real quick is assertiveness. Believe it or not, that's a kind of a defense. Well, it moves, it's between passive and aggressive. You know, assertiveness is also kind of a little bit more along the lines of aggressive, would be more of the defense, or passive aggressive.
Oh boy, yeah, and there's a lot of that.
But getting back to your question real quick, it's really having people around and being able to, that's why this segment's important, being able to start thinking, I might be doing that. And not shaming ourselves for it, not judging ourselves for it, but being aware of it. I might be regressing. I might be in denial. I might be rationalizing.
Tell me, there was one that when I was looking through the list that I didn't quite understand. I thought it was interesting, but it was, the example was, it's the worker who can't stand the boss, really wants a new job, but then is overly nice and pretends like everything's wonderful. What's that called?
Displacement.
Okay, displacement.
I call it sideways, but it's really, the word is displacement. I can't get angry at my boss, so I'll go home and take it out on my wife or the kids.
Or I'll go home and kick the dog.
Or kick the dog. I can't take it out at work, so I'll give it to the customer service at the store. Or I might get into rage in the car. Displacement's fascinating. It really is. I'm glad you brought it up. It's fascinating because we can catch that.
Yeah.
And I think family members, wives and ought to be very aware of asking it, honey, what's really going on? What can you, and without putting in a threatening situation, that sounds like what else, what am I missing?
Yeah.
You know, because you don't want to take it personally, you want to kind of push back and say, can we talk about that for a minute? That feels like bad day, you know, something happened. And believe it or not, Whitney, the other person might say, yeah, real bad, or something happened, but didn't want to talk about it.
Sure, but that must be horrible. And let's go back to the boss work situation where that person has to kind of stuff that down for 8 or 9 hours a day and can't express, or the feelings can't even emerge, and just the pretending. That just can't be healthy.
How about if we sublimate?
Okay.
How about if we put that anger into something else, into productive work?
Into looking for a new job. That's how I'm thinking. We're going to solve this one. Work at that resume.
Yes, it could be working on the resume. It could be working on the resume, but it's also, again, you see where that ties in though, sublimation?
I do.
We'll put it in something else. And that's not necessarily repressing the feeling. of anger. We're just putting it in something else, and we're getting it out in another avenue.
Right, something other than like drinking that's destructive.
Exactly. Or going home and screaming at the kids. Whitney, that, if nothing else from today, I wish people would understand, be careful when you go home in a bad mood because work was hard. Because it will come out in a displaced, sideways manner.
Right.
Don't you know it?
To people who
Haven't
don't
you done
deserve it.
I've done it. I've done it. Take it out on somebody else and then catch it. Like, wow, I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that.
Right, right. Like, so let's say that it's just been a horrible day at work, and we have to run at the grocery, and the line is long, and the lady's credit card doesn't work, or somebody's and then you just almost want to have an outburst.
Yes.
And that's...
Yes. It happened to me today when we were getting ready. Yes, because I came in with everything going wrong and you weren't ready. And I wanted to scream. And then I thought, why would I get mad at Whitney? It's not her fault that everything went bad this
For you
morning.
today, but it was one more
And
thing.
then right. But you do see where it can just come out.
I do. And you're so sweet because you didn't say a thing to me.
Well, but again, not to say that displacement is great, but we do it with people we're safe with. He doesn't feel safe with his boss, but he feels safe with his wife. I'm not excusing it.
Of course.
Any more than I would excuse me saying to you, "Hey, let's go."
Right.
You know, but
you did say
it is
that.
I did.
But that was 10 minutes after you were here, and it was time to giddy up.
Because you always get me out of a bad mood.
Oh, sweet. Well, thank you. Because I was going to say you didn't lash out at me.
No. Well, I think that's growth, Whitney.
Yeah.
Not that neither of us are perfect, but I think we're all trying to grow and catch those moments where it's not really healthy. Let it go.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
You're right. Thanks so much. Let it go.
Another great line. Always, forever. Bye, everybody.
Thanks so much. And we'll remember those defense mechanisms. Catch them and
YouTube it, watch it often.
but watch it. So now you know. More Weekends with Whitney after this.